This is your show now, Lulu. What's up? Yeah, it's your show now. You take the show. You're the rare black new moon. Bless you. Little cutie. Little cutie. Yeah, you're the new moon. Are you the black new moon? Yeah. Alright. Let's pop this in here. Okay, and hopefully it's still recording. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, Lulu. Let's have a look. Let's get the cards that we have. Hecate and Oracle, of course. And I have the Rider-Waite Tarot as well. Interestingly enough, I misplaced both of these cards in my move, but thankfully I found them about a week ago. So I'm going to be reading with these today, because Hecate and Oracle is perfect for the black moon. Okay, so let's open that up, and we have Rider-Waite Tarot. And Rider-Waite, I read with tarot all the time, but I've not used this actual deck in a while. I've been using the Grimalkin's Curious Cat Tarot quite a lot. Okay, so let's give Rider-Waite some airtime. Okay. So let's give these a good old shuffle. And okay, so basically, if you're tuning in, this live stream is about the rare black new moon in Virgo. So this is a very good time, and it's a very rare occasion. So this black new moon, it only comes around once every 33 months. So yeah, that's correct, months. I wanted to say years, but no, it's not that rare. It is rare, but not that rare. So every 33 months is when this black new moon comes around. And new moons in themselves, new moons are perfect time for setting your intentions, for writing down what you want to manifest, and taking time to manifest, taking time to meditate on what you're manifesting. So that's perfect time at the new moon. So you can do all of this now, or you could do it on any new moon, but especially if you're doing it now, it's going to be amplified like probably threefold or more, just because of this rare black new moon. So what the rare black new moon does, it kind of blots out the night sky. So everywhere, because it's so dark, you're actually able to see the Milky Way, which is a rarity if you're like in a suburban area, if you're in a city. So if you're somewhere with a lot of light pollution, it's very rare for you to see any of the cosmic wonders such as the Milky Way or clear views of constellations and stuff like that, because it does drive me crazy, especially when I've just moved back to the city, when I was in a little town before. But to be fair, the weather there wasn't brilliant, and it wasn't too far from where I was now, so not much difference. But yeah, always in the city there's more light pollution, so it's a lot more difficult to see beautiful spectacles when they happen. But hey ho, what can you do? So let's see which tarot. So Spirit, what have you got for us regarding this black moon? Page of Wands is what we have. Okay. Interesting. So Page of Wands. So I feel like So wands is always to do with like the element of fire, and it's often to do with a person who's creative as well. So I feel like it may be Spirit's nod at telling us to be a bit more creative, and that creative energy, it's like really powerful actually. So when you're wanting to manifest, if you're tapping into that creative energy, so if you want to try to do your manifestations and your journaling, and try to do it all as creative as possible, and you will have better results. Okay, so yeah, if the Page of Wands is representing a person, it will always represent one of the fire signs, so Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. I remembered them today, so yeah. So if it's representing a person, so these people are often quite intuitive, they're quite in touch with their feelings, and they're quite fiery tempered as well. So there you have it, that's the fire sign. So that's the first card we have, Page of Wands. Okay, let's pull another card. Let's go from the Rider-Waite deck again. So let's have another tarot card. What have you got for a spirit for this black moon in Virgo? Virgo is such a, I want to say it's a kind of a strict sort of energy, but Virgo's very regimented, and Virgo's a control freak pretty much. Oh, okay, so this is the next card we have. So speaking of control freaks, so this is, in this image, it's kind of showing the complete opposite of like when you're in control. So yeah, not looking that positive, that card. But the thing is when, so how many swords is that? So we have 8 swords. Okay, so it's all about restriction. Although the numerology for 8 again is tying back into manifestation as well. So I feel like some of us are feeling a bit restricted in our efforts to manifest our goals. But I believe this is like Spirit is telling us to be more resilient and to kind of push past this, because a lot of the time, like when we feel like we're being restricted and there's some form of barrier, like a lot of the time it's kind of psychological and it's in our own heads, and like there's basically, if there's a wall in front of you, the wall is not as big as you are kind of making out. It's literally big enough for you to literally step over or climb over. But some people, if they see a wall, they're like, oh no, a wall, I'm not going to go any further, I'm just going to stay here, I'll go back. But what was all that effort for? So if you're just going to turn back, if you're just going to give up so easily, then why was that in your goals in the first place? Why was you heading in that direction? So this is kind of what Spirit is telling you, to be a bit more resilient and not to give up so easily. Okay. Let's go with the Hecatean Oracle now. Let's have a few of those cards. Okay. And please feel free to write in the comments. Say hello, let me know where you're watching from. Okay, so I'm just going to check the comments now because it looks like I have had one. So message was retracted. So Julia popped in a message. Okay. Okay, so this is the Hecatean Oracle. Alright, Goddess Hecate. So the Goddess Hecate, she does have dominion over the dark moon or in the new moon. So let's see, what messages have you got? What do we really need to be aware of? Hecate, please let us know. Okay, I want this one. So what have we got? Cords and bondage. Ooh, blooming heck. Okay. Alright, that's kind of giving me shivers now, because we've literally got two forms of like bindings and bondage and restriction. So this restrictive energy is like quite harsh at the moment. This is what Spirit is showing. So that we have literally two cards from different decks, and they're both saying the exact same thing. So I feel like a lot of chords are in place. So I'm going to actually read what this card says, especially because I feel like this message is very strong, because it's echoed within both cards. So let's see what the book has to say about this message. So number 36, interesting. So 3 and 6 equals 9 in numerology. So 9 does represent a completion of events as well. So in that way, the numerology of it sounds good, but the message itself doesn't sound brilliant. But let's have a look what the book says, because it may be that there is a silver lining that we're missing. So number 36. Okay, so it says, bondage. Whilst moderation and restraint can be advantageous, what we need to avoid is becoming trapped. So yeah, that's literally like the tarot card was saying as well. We may feel our hands are bound, but who tied them? Did we make a promise we feel obligated to keep? When we look around, we can find the answers to release us, but we must first identify the source of our captivity. For we are often our own captors. So yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying about the wall here. So we often put our own barriers in front of ourselves. So it says you may feel helpless and blocked, or feel the time for purposeful inaction is desirable. Okay, so that is that card. Alright, so interesting that this is coming around at this time. So this feeling of restrictions and kind of hopelessness and giving up. So this is kind of like opposite to how we should be feeling at this time, because basically this is just such a magnetic and powerful time for us for manifesting stuff. So if we're focusing on negative things, then we're gonna then attract more negative things to ourselves. However, if we're focusing on our goals, on our dreams, our manifestations, our life goals, things that we want to attain, if we're focusing on that now, then that is going to come to us a lot quicker than, and I'm sure you'd much rather have like your life goal or something that you're working towards. I'm sure you'd rather have that than to have more negativity in your life, because I know that's what I would choose. Okay. So is the moon this weekend? Natalie asks. Okay, so the new moon is literally today. So is the black moon this weekend? So we're on Friday now, so I guess it says today and tomorrow. So yeah, these 2 nights that we have now, this is the black moon. So this is when this rare event is happening. So literally I've seen a post that says do not sleep tonight. So this is what some people are actually posting, just because it's quite a rare occasion. 33 months, so you have to wait about 2 years or more for the next black moon on this, which will be like this one. So it's quite a long time to wait. So don't miss this opportunity, don't miss this chance to use a bit of extra magic and have a bit of amplification for your manifestation goals. Okay, so let's go with another Hecate card. Just grab those. Right, so what else, Mother Hecate, have you got for us? What else do we need to be aware of? Okay. We are open to more of your guidance, Mother Goddess Hecate. Right, let's go with this one. Interesting. That is pretty freaking interesting, because if you look at that card, it's literally, it literally looks like a black moon. Apart from with the black moon, you cannot see any slivers or crescents at all. But that is almost there, because the irregular crescent moon, you just have it either waxing or waning. But in this one, you can just see like a little horns, which you don't often see unless there's some form of eclipse. But the message on this card, it says new moon and new beginnings. So this is what this is all about. So this is again just echoing the importance of this time that we're in, the creative energy, the new moon energy, this massive portal. So it's such an important portal, and the door is open on this portal. We just need to walk through it, and we do that by setting our intentions and intending to walk through the portal, writing down what we're wanting to manifest, speaking it out loud, speaking our goals, like affirmations, mantras, affirmations, whichever method you want to use, but just using whichever tools are gonna really help you get into the correct mindset for manifesting. But new beginnings, let's read what it says about this. So it's it's number 29 that says. It'd be interesting to look at the numerology of that one as well. So 2 and 9. Oh, making me do maths. Is that like 11 or something? Don't ask me. Okay. So it says, the beginning of a lunar month sparks the potential for all that lies ahead. Make plans and start to roll them out. As the moon waxes, power will rise, and in this fresh time, Hecate's power is buoyant and full of promise. Look for opportunities, both spiritual and mundane. Seek improvement, development, and answers, and take a chance. Freaking hell. So that's literally almost like what I put into the thumbnail for this video, take a chance. This is a time of action and not to sit on the sidelines. So yeah, the goddess is really waving a flag here and saying, hey, you, get your ass in gear. Let's get some goals achieved. Let's get some victories under our belt. Let's succeed in what we're doing. Hey, so that is the next card for this reading. Let's go back with tarot. So back to the Rider-Waite. So suggestions on what to do tonight. Meditation or candles. Both of those sound like good ideas, especially if you're a fire sign, or if you're a big fan of candles, then I would definitely say that is a good way to go. So meditation. Yeah, meditation's always a good thing, because it serves as a way to quieten the mind and to kind of relax and let the ego settle down. So once you're in that meditative state, once you're in that relaxed state, then you're able to then focus more easily, and you can focus on what you want to manifest once you've reached that complete clear theta state, I want to say. So it's kind of like hypnotic state, like a trance state. Once you've completely got into that deep trance state, then you can, once you're there, then you can think about, maybe if you've written your goals down before that, before you started meditating, if you've wrote them down, once you've in that trance-like state, then have a look at your list of goals and maybe read them out, affirm them over and over. So that would be a good idea. And lighting a candle that's only going to amplify what you're doing. So you can't go wrong with lighting a candle. Okay, so let's see what else we've got. What else should we know, Spirit? Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. So we have, what number is that? Six cups here. Okay, so with this one always reminds me of, so it's like that, those feelings of nostalgia. So this is what it reminds me of always. So it's interesting because like a couple of days ago, it might have been yesterday, but I was feeling very nostalgic for some reason. I can't remember why. But also actually over the past few days, I've been receiving like quite a lot of downloads as well, just out of nowhere. Just catch that ringing and be like, oh, okay, so yeah, we're receiving some downloads our way. But it's interesting because I've been working on some other stuff, but that's kind of beside the point of this card. So the point of this card is, it's to do with, like, if you look at it closely, it's kind of to do with that sort of family feeling. And if you think about memories and kind of thinking about the people who mean a lot to you, so it may be people who are not physically with you anymore. They may have passed, or they may just have moved quite far away, so you don't get to see them. So it's kind of just powerful memories and powerful emotions. This is what this is evoking, and that's not surprising really if you think about what we're in. So when it comes to like times like this, especially like on a dark moon, the dark moon itself is a perfect time for like doing shadow work and stuff like that. So the black moon is not too dissimilar, because the black moon's all to do with setting your manifestations, but it's always good before you work in your manifestations, if you do a little bit of shadow work, and it just helps to release a little bit of the baggage, just so that your manifestations are able to lift up to the heavens. So it makes you a little bit lighter, just so that you can rise a bit more easily. Okay, so hi Natalie. So Natalie's saying, I'm Sagittarius, Sun, Moon in Aries rising. Wow, that is very specific. I love it. So Sagittarius, Moon, Aries. Wow, so yeah, that is a lot of fire. No wonder we had the Page of Wands card. So I wonder if this card is representing you or somebody you know, maybe. So the Page of Wands, but yeah, that definitely represents the fire signs, and you've just mentioned quite a lot of fire signs there. Okay, so it says, I've been reflecting on growth and how far I've come on this spiritual walk. Brilliant. My grandma, releasing yes, inner child and teenager. So yeah, that does sound really perfect. So if you do look at the cards, that it does look like there's an adult in the card, and then there's a young child there as well. So it's all about that kind of motherly and or grandmotherly bonding, or father-son bonding, depending on who you are. But it's the bond between like a matriarch or an elder in the family, and a bond with someone who's younger and looks up to them. So it's that, showing that sort of thing exactly. That's what's depicted in the card. But yeah, it's a very nostalgic moment right now. So lots of memories may come in, even dreams. But with there being a lot of cups, the cups are full with flowers, so that is showing me that like all of the memories are good memories. So it's no wonder that you'd want to reflect on them. No wonder you are kind of nostalgic and want to kind of remember it more often, just because they're really good memories. And I can relate to you there, because with my grandma, like I have lots of good memories, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her, just because there's so many good memories and she was such a lovely person. So I can relate there. Right, so I'm going to pull another card. So we're going to go back to the Hecate Oracle, or Hecatean Oracle. Let's see which other aspects of our goddess want to guide us now. Oh, I feel like that card's kind of catching my eye. Let's have a look at it. Ooh, alright, so that looks very interesting. Oh, okay, so let's have a look at that one. So yeah, so this one looks kind of worrying. So it's kind of showing me the same sort of energy as the first card that we had. There was that kind of that troublesome vibe to it. So this is the aspect of the goddess is Hecate Clytius. Okay, and the message it brings is it's like about defeat. So let's read what the book says about this one, because as the goddess Hecate has so many epithets and titles, I've actually not really come across this one that much. It's not one of the epithets that I usually would work with. I work a lot with Hecate Sotera or Hecatephonia, so or one of the like Hecate Daducus or Lampidorus, one of the epithets and titles which refer to her as a light-bringing deity. But this seems to be a different title that we're referring to. So it's number 54. So it says, here we see Hecate's triumph over her adversary. Oh, so that's good then. So it's not a negative card. So Hecate's triumphing over her adversary, the giant Clytius. This card represents how we tackle obstacles. The odds may seem stacked, but we can be sure of evoking the goddess's power to help us to succeed. Through the transformative flames of her fiery brand, we can be set free. Get creative about options. Now is the time to stand up and fight for what you believe in. Wow. Now that is a beautiful and powerful message, and I'm glad that came through. Wow. Okay. And Natalie says, I miss her so much, she is my heart. Yeah, I can really relate to what you're saying there, because I'm exactly the same. Just when you miss your grandma so much, because your grandma has literally carried you literally inside her body at some point, even if you was just like some form of cell or chromosome or something along those lines, but you literally have been carried within your grandmother's body. Or an egg, they say. Something along those lines. Don't quote me on it, as I'm not a biologist, but that's what I heard, that your grandma carries like all of the eggs, which then become fertilized, and then and your literally your mother, when when your grandmother's, I can't even talk properly, when your grandmother is carrying you in her belly, like your mother, when your grandmother's carrying your mother in her belly, your mother already has your eggs formed, so in that way your grandmother is carrying you too, because you're the egg within your mum's womb, even if she's just a fetus. So yeah, grandmas are so special, and they do so much for us, give us so much love, and they make sure that we don't want for anything, bless them. Okay. Oh, so it looks like we've got more ones. So there's another fiery character involved. So we have the Knight of Wands. So he's got a big stick. He looks like he's about to bash somebody over the head with it. I'm not going to lie. So it looks like he's going jousting or going to clobber someone with this big baton. But the Knight of Wands, so knights in a reading for me, it often represents like some form of message coming in, somebody coming in to give some form of message. So it may be that an important message does drop by for us, or for some of us in the next week or so. And there's definitely a lot of fire sign characters who are important around us, so do be aware of like the people who are around you in the weeks to come, especially if you know what their signs are, because yeah, I feel like this is definitely, there's quite a lot here relating to fire signs. So that, again, I'll say that again, to the fire signs are Sagittarius, Aries and Leo. Okay, so let's go with another Hecate card. I've missed these cards so much. Let's let them have their moment of glory on this black moon that we're going to have to wait another 33 months for the next one. Okay, so what else have you got for us, Goddess Hecate? What else should we be aware of? Medea. Ooh, so this is a juicy card. So Medea. So Medea, she is a devotee of Hecate. So there's literally a lot of dramas written about her. It makes a good play. There's also movies as well. There's Jason and the Argonauts, like old classic movies, but I love them, especially when you get to see like Medea dancing in the temple of Hecate, and she meets Jason for the first time and then kind of falls in love with Jason the hero and kind of turns her back on her own people. So, but Medea, I think the message on this card, the emphasis is on magic, and that's very interesting. And the card number is 55, so I'll show you the card again. 55. Right, where's my numerology book? Let's see what I can, because it's on the shelf next to me. Let's see what 55 is in aid of. What does that number do? But it's very interesting that Medea is cropped up, because also she was a practitioner who worked with pharmakia. So that is the practice of using potent herbs to work magic. So sometimes, like in ancient times, they'd use a lot of poisonous herbs. So we would call that now poison craft when you're using poisonous herbs in witchcraft. But I'd advise if you're able to work magic without a poisonous herb, then always do it without. If you're able to get the same results without, because I do have a poisonous magical herb, so it is good to use time and time, once in a blue moon, like if the occasion calls for it. So if you just need a little extra oomph, then grab the datura out or the henbane, and it will empower your magical spell. But like I said, there's a lot of other plants that you can use in place which will empower your magic, like dragon's blood is a good resin. Or I'm trying to think of another plant. What plants are good for empowering? I want to say rosemary. Rosemary is kind of like a all-rounder. You can literally use rosemary in any form of magic. But yeah, I've not found number 55 yet. But I guess I've not actually been looking at the book properly. So let's see. So I could have swore there was like a list with the numbers in this book, unless I'm thinking of a different book. Success through numerology. 5. So yeah, let's have a look at 5 then, because it doesn't seem to be showing 55. So it says 23, page 23. I thought this book didn't have any numbers then. That'd be interesting for a numerology book to be not numbered. So 5 is the number of people. As individuals or a species, it is astrologically associated with Mercury, the messenger of the Greek gods. Geometrically, it's related to the 5-pointed star, the pentagram. Okay, so yeah, I see the connection now. So this is where the connection with magic's coming from. Because the 5-pointed star and the pentagram, literally, when you're doing a working like within your circle or within your temple or shrine, then you would place like an item on the pentagram, and that pentagram acts like a focal point for your magic, so then you can direct your magical spell into the item to enchant it. So the 5-pointed star and the pentagram is a very powerful tool, and it's saying that the number 5 is connected to that because of course it's a 5-pointed star, so yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay, so 55, what would you get with 55? So it's 5 and 5 equals 10, so again it's near to completion. Well, literally it is completion, because 9 is as far as you can get before you have to go back to 1 again. Okay, but I want to read what it says about this Media card. I've not pulled this card before, but it does look very interesting. So here it says magic. So Red Priestess of Hecate, Medea is known for her skillful crafting of spells, potions, and devotion to the goddess. Her abilities have helped and hindered the heroes such as Jason and gods of old, but her gifts are inherent in the depths of Hecate's teachings. From serene to frenzied, she is not afraid to do the hard work, and her emotionally charged conjuring has huge potential for change, causing dramatic shifts of energy. Interesting. So yeah, in other words, Medea is a bad bitch. She gets shit done. Like, don't mess with Medea, because she is fierce, and she's not like most of Hecate's devotees, where we're not to be trifled with, really, because we can fuck shit up. So let's move on. So going back to the tarot. So pull in another tarot card. And then Natalie says, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Ashe, my friend. Oh, you're welcome, Natalie. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad my knowledge and my reading, my card pulls, it's been useful to somebody. It's always nice to see when people are connecting with the readings. So thank you. Okay, so oh friggin' hell, man. God, I do not like this card at all. Okay. So we have 10 of Swords. So in a reading, it's literally one of the worst cards. So basically, this represents when a person is feeling like at their lowest. It's like you've been stabbed in the back like umpteen times, and you just had so much shit thrown at you. But the important thing to remember here is the only way is up. So when you're in that really bad place, when you're feeling really down and depressed and really hurt, like the only way to move on from that is to like regenerate, to recuperate, to kind of like rise from the ashes like a phoenix, and to just to not let other people get you down, and to rise above like whatever bullshit is being thrown at you, to like literally toss the swords back to them and just get up and keep fighting, keep being resilient. And kind of the thing that your enemies don't want to see, the enemies, when you have enemies and when there's people who don't like you and they're throwing shade at you, stuff like that, they don't like to see when you're successful and when you're happy. So the best revenge you can get towards those people is you live your best life and you show them that you can recover in a flash, and that they're not gonna ruin your life no matter how much they try. And then people give up, kind of give up when they see that they're not getting a rise from their negativity. Okay, so that was 10 of Swords. Okay, so let's go back to the Hecate Oracle. Seeing as tarot wanted to be kind of a bit overpowering there, but that's the thing about tarot, it doesn't sugarcoat anything. Like some oracle decks are very airy fairy and unicorns and rainbows, but like the tarot, there's none of that. It's just plain and simple. Here is what you need to know. Okay, let's go with this card. Oh my god, what is going on? So literally the next card we have now is Gorgo, and this is to do with fear. So again, this is I feel like it's all connected. So it's representing like somebody who's literally living in fear, and again it's rising above it, so it's painting a very sad picture. So let me read the book on this one. So again, it's number 5. I don't believe that. So we had 55 and now we have 5. Friggin' heck. And I literally just read what the numerology for 5 was. So again, it was to do with the pentagram and the sacred geometry and the connection with magic. Okay, so let's read this card. because I think there's more to it. I think so. The message is here. It says Gorgo the Grim. So it's the emphasis. So this card represents fear. So it says, if we own our fears, they no longer hold sway over our lives. Instead, we can wear the aegis of our own making and use conquered fear as an advantage. The Gorgon Medusa was often vilified as a man-hating monster, punished by a vengeful goddess for something out of her control. And yet, if we examine the punishment of Medusa, we can see that perhaps she was given the strength and power to never be taken advantage of again. So yeah, that is a fair point, to be fair. I've never looked at it in that way. So the tale of Medusa, so if this is for anyone who's not fully aware of what happened in that tale in mythology. So Medusa, she was a priestess of Athena, I believe it was, and I believe she was raped by one of the deities. I believe it was Poseidon in Athena's temple, and Athena took offense to this and then cursed Medusa so that she looked like that. So she looked scary and terrible. So before, she was all beautiful and perfect, but she was like a reverent. She was a reverent follower for Athena. But when this has happened, it was like Athena didn't take pity on her. But the angle that the cards are coming from is that maybe Athena did take pity on her and didn't just curse her. Instead, she's literally given her strength so that that can never happen again now, because she's literally Medusa. She's the Gorgon, and she's what other people are afraid of. So no one can make her feel fear again, because she's like so powerful and almost damn near invincible, almost. Okay. So it says, if we examine the punishment of Medusa, we can see that perhaps she was given the strength and power to never be taken advantage of again. So the message here is, rise up and find yourself reborn, capable and at peace with your past anxieties, insecurities and fears. Wow. So this is, I feel like these are a lot of powerful messages here. It's very deep. So Weirdness one says, hi Ruben, what decks are we reading today? So the decks that I'm reading today, I'm reading the Hecatean Oracle. So the Oracle of the Hecatean Path. So it's by Ken Payne and Chris Butler. And I'm also reading Rider-Waite Tarot deck. So that's what I'm reading today. Okay, so let's pull another tarot card. Hopefully the tarot's calmed down a bit. We'll see. So Spirit, what else would you like us to know about this black moon? What other guidance have you got for us? And if possible, be nice to us, please. We've had a lot of powerful messages, but we're open to receive your guidance, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we have two swords. So twos in a reading is representing two opposing forces, so it's kind of like yin and yang. So let me have a look at astrology again. Not astrology, sorry, I meant numerology. So have we got anything else other than like two opposing forces? Number 2. Is it? Can we find that here? 2, so it's a 17 to 19. So it's right at the beginning, so 17 to 19. So about 2, so it said positive aspects, so wise, tactful, diplomatic, adaptable, loyal, forthright. So there's an emphasis on loyalty here. So the latter description is closer to 2, and so we refer it to the Earth and the Earth Mother. Remember that when we say the Sun is in Sagittarius, we are also saying that Earth is in Gemini. So it says, in this, 2s are very much like the Earth Mother. She takes the energy of the Sun, the various chemicals in her seas, and creates life. She adds nothing original. She is totally dependent on the Sun for the original power, but what she creates as nature does not look anything like what she received in the first place. This image is very much what 2s are about, so it should not be surprising that 2s are people who are concerned about the home and children. This is one of the things that keep 2s going. Okay, so that, I think that's kind of more to with numerology on the names of people. But there was some interesting stuff in there. So 2 swords, so 2 opposing forces. If you look in the picture, the woman's blindfolded, but she definitely looks like she's a lot more in control than in the previous picture where we saw that the woman was restricted and she was tied up and bound. So that would seem to be, so that binding and that bondage sort of theme carried through to the Hecatean Oracle deck we had as well. So that did show up there. But if you look in this card that we've reached now, the woman, the person, she's a lot more in control. So yeah, there is still a blindfold, but it gives me proper Electra vibes. So not that Electra's blind. Electra's not blind, is she? But yeah, that's an interesting thought. I've not seen Electra in ages, but it is giving me Electra vibes. I know she carries like these daggers or sais. Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit that movie because I can't remember exactly where I was going with that, but it's definitely giving me Electra vibes. So she's carrying these 2 swords and she is in control and she doesn't look frightened and she isn't restricted. So at any point she can stand up, she can move. So the restrictions, the bondages, they've been lifted, they've been cut away with the swords. So that is a good message. Okay, so I'm going to go with another Hecatean Oracle card, I think. So weirdness, someone says, she was still pregnant with twins until her death. Pegasus and Chrysaor came from her neck after Perseus killed her. What? Oh my gosh. So that is interesting. I've not heard that much into that mythological story. Wow. So she was pregnant with twins when Perseus came and killed her and chopped her head off so that he could then go and save Andromeda, I believe it was, using the head of Medusa. That is really sad, but I guess this is why they call these stories the tragedies, because if you look at the life of Medusa, that is so much tragedy there, because she was literally raped by a god and then cursed by a goddess, and then some bloody heroes came along and thought, oh, it'll be convenient if I just whack your head off and use you as a tool to defeat like the Kraken or whatever monster it was. But yeah, that is awful. Poor Medusa. Bloody hell. Right, so let's see what else Spirit has got for us. Our goddess Hecate. What else should we be aware of? We're going to use your oracle cards. Please let us know what else we should be aware of now. So let's go with this one. Ooh, eater of filth. Oh. So, alright, so the message here is about cleansing. Oh gosh, blew me neck. This card, I've not seen this one before. Well, I must have done. I went through all of them, but I guess I've not looked at it very closely. But yeah, this is the next card. Blew me neck. It's a powerful image. So it says, Forber. So this is one of Hecate's titles and epithets. So it means eater of filth. So that is interesting. So the emphasis and the representation of this card, so it represents cleansing. So yeah, I definitely need to read more into that because I'm completely coming in new to this title. Eater of filth. Blooming hell. This goddess Hecate, she's got so many titles. And it's not like that they're all titles just about the same thing. They're so diverse as well. Wow, this goddess, she is amazing. Right, so let's see. So, oh, it's number 7. I like the number 7. So, number 7 often is quite a heavenly number. So, let's see. So, it says, our hectic modern lives are full of the miasma of stress, disease, betrayal, loss, bullying, failure, existing on the edges of society. Hecate sorry, I didn't say that right. Hecate Barforber takes the dirt and I can't even say that word, detritus of life, gorges on it, and through her cleansing fires brings about a sense of serene renewal. Wow, so it's kind of in a way like the dung beetle. The dung beetle, it takes like the waste product of like other animals, I believe it is. It takes a waste product and then transforms it into something useful. So it uses it as a tool. So it's a waste product to everyone else, but it's actually something useful for them. Okay. It says her countenance may be viewed as anathema to us, but her divinity is still strongly present, illustrated in her proximity to the human condition, something that many of the other gods shy away from. Wow, that sounds like a very powerful card, but I've not come across that before. Okay, so let's have a quick look at number 7 in the numerology book. 7's actually, where is my tarot book? Because that kind of says it a bit better. I've misplaced where I put it. I've got that many books, bloody hell. But yeah, maybe, yeah, keep looking here. So number 7, where are you? 777. Alphabetical order. So 27. Okay, page 27. They've all not been very far from each other. So it says, this is the number of mysticism. And again, of course, I should have known that. I was literally working with Saint Germain today, and Saint Germain, he utilizes the 7-pointed star, and obviously he works with the violet ray and the violet flame, and that that ray is the ray of the mystics. So it's all to do with mysticism, ritual, magic. So of course that ties in there. So that's interesting that there's that overlap with that mysticism, magic, and then there's like this really dark and sort of almost sinister aspect, the eater of filth. Very interesting crossover there. Okay. So I'm going to pull... I'm going to go with another Hecate card, just so, because I'm so happy to have them back again. I nearly had a mental breakdown because I misplaced them in the move. But have you back again, yay. So, Goddess Hecate, what else would you like us to know? This has been quite a heavy reading, but I feel like there's like a lot of shadow work opportunities hidden in this reading. It's kind of bringing to light some of the dark things and deep things which need healing. Right, so what have you got for us? I'm gonna go with you. Let's see what we've got. Hey, we like this one. And I do know this epithet, so it's number 23, and it's Hecate Pandotera, the All-Giver. So yeah, abundance. So the emphasis is, so like once we've got through all of the shit, as it was just literally talking about, what, excuse my French, excuse my language, so, but like the filthy, we was literally just talking about the filthy, so it's kind of talking about that progression as we walk, as we come through all of that waste products, all of that stuff that's not useful, all of that stuff that's been holding us back, all of that stuff that's just literally just baggage which has been clinging to us. Once we've released that and let go of that and released it for good, we then come into a place where we are ready to receive abundance. Because literally, if your house is full to the brim with a lot of stuff that you don't need, so if your house is just packed to the brim, so literally if you envision a hoarder's house, if you have a house which is just full to the brim with absolute rubbish, then how are you going to bring home something nice? You literally can, or literally if you do bring it home, it's just going to go on top of the pile, on top of the hoard, and get buried. So this is what I feel like, this is one of the messages which is being taught to us. So it's about making space, like releasing what's not needed, letting go of what's not needed, making space, and once you do that, you then make room for more abundance. And this is the message from Hecate. So I'm going to read what the book has to say about this one, and I think it's a good one to end on this note. So it says, Hecate was called upon in all aspects of life, including the welfare of crops, livestock, and the fisherman's catch. Her ability to give and promote abundance is parallel to many Earth Mother figures, such as Gaia, Demeter, and Rhea. But for all she can give, she can also withhold or take away. Do not expect to receive, be gracious, and avoid greed. The goddess provides, but she scolds the grasping and the materialistic who seek to fill their voids with her bounty. Wow. So yeah, yet another reminder not to mess with Goddess Hecate. Oh, wow. Okay, so there you have it. So compost makes soil fertile. Exactly, yes, that's a good point. So that's going back to the filthy in and the progression from that. So we was talking about the filth. So weirdness. One has mentioned that yes, like you put compost in literally horse manure, you put on cow manure and stuff like that. You put that down on soil to make it fertile so that things grow. So that is a very interesting way of looking at it as well. So it does tie into that theme of like using the byproduct and releasing, letting go of what's not needed, or at least putting it to good use so it can be used in a productive way. And in that way, once you've done that, you then receive abundance. So I'm very happy with that. I believe that's a very clear message there. So there's been a lot of deep, dark areas that this reading's gone in, but I feel like if you're unsure about any of it, if you do resonate with it, but there's bits that you're unsure about, I'd kind of go away, ask Hecate, and ask your spirit guides, ancestors, ask them to send you like some clarification, to give you some signs in your dreams, or do some meditation, stuff like that, and you will receive some more context, I believe, in the thing that you're unsure about. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. So thank you for tuning in. It's lovely to see you all. Please do check out some of the other videos, and I wish you all brightest blessings, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Tallulah says bye as well. Little bugger.